Hi, how's it going, resident of Collinwood? Here, I'm here to do my birthday tribute to Jonathan Frid, the actor who played the original Barnabas Collins, today being his birthday. Um, Frid was born on this day in 1924. Um, was a Canadian actor. What's most interesting about Frid is he served in the Royal Canadian Navy during World War II. He also graduated from McMaster University in Hamilton in 1948, and following year was accepted by the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts in London. He moved to the United States in 1954 and received a Master of Fine Arts degree in directing from the Yale School of Drama in 1957 as a student at Yale in 1956. Give me 1 second, guys. Closing something. There's so much to get to here with Frid, with Dark Shadows, and not just Dark Shadows, but the things he did outside of Dark Shadows. I want to make this clear because I do got to touch on Dan Curtis first. Dan Curtis did create Barnabas Collins, and if it weren't for Dan Curtis, the TV show would have got canceled. Dan Curtis had to fight for Dark Shadows to stay on air because at that time, Dark Shadows was on the potential chopping block. He told them he had a new character coming, and that character was Barnabas Collins, obviously. Now, while yes, Curtis created the character, Jonathan Frid, what he did so well, he read the script and he saw the character for what it was, or more importantly, for what it wasn't. This wasn't, Frid saw it as, this wasn't Dracula, this wasn't Bela Lugosi's Dracula, this wasn't Christopher Lee's Dracula, this wasn't those type of vampires. This type of vampire was completely different in Frid's mind. He was a fake in a sense. He was a nice guy posing as a mean guy. And Frid saw it this way too. He was a Canadian playing a Brit. So, a fake playing a fake, as he described it once in his own words. And I always found that sort of curious. But the thing of it is, I went back and I watched the episodes, and even today, even though Jonathan Frid's character Barnabas Collins grabs Maggie Evans by the throat, I can't find myself hating him whatsoever. Not one bit at all. And my son's former teacher, when he was coming here, Zach Mickey, shout out to him, asked me, do I consider Barnabas Collins a villain? Is he on my villains list? No, he's not a villain. You can't look at him as a villain. Even today, when I went back and watched it, still can't look at him as a villain. Where the vampires prior to Barnabas wanted to destroy life, Barnabas Collins wanted to live his life, the life he never got to have. And that's the way Frid betrayed him. He wasn't this character who was out to kill just to kill. He was killing out of necessity. He was getting blood out of need, not necessarily because he wanted it, because he needed it. And he inspired a generation of vampires to come. For example, Angel in the Buffy series. Now, I wasn't a fan of Twilight, but he did inspire Edward Cullen in a sense. But another character I think he doesn't get credit for, go watch the dad in The Lost Boys. He's not mean until he absolutely has to be, and that's exactly what Frid was. What Frid did with Barnabas. He wasn't this vampire who, again, was out for blood because he wanted it. He needed it. He wanted to live life and be allowed to live his life. Yeah, he had to hide one of the biggest secrets in the Collins family, and that being he was a vampire. what, nearly 200-year-old vampire. And that's what was so interesting about it too. Not just that, but what Frid did with his face, with his eyes, with his posture, it wasn't just his words. It was what he did with his posture and body, what was so amazing. To me, he does not get the credit he deserves and doesn't get talked about among the other elite vampires. And to me, in my heart of hearts, Jonathan Fritz Barnabas Collins is number one in mine. All time. You know, you could dispute me on that all you want. That's just my opinion. And now, what did Frid do outside of Dark Shadows? Actually, after Dark Shadows, he did a series of one-man shows, all proceeds going to charity mainly. And so he did those for a number of years. And another cool thing he did when he was alive, he had his own website, and on the website he would read Hamlet and other plays he'd done. And I really, really enjoyed that and enjoyed hearing him. Jonathan Frid, no, he wasn't there at the beginning of Dark Shadows, but he created a whole nother essence of Dark Shadows with that character Barnabas Collins. No, he didn't create the name, but he himself brought his own style and unique brand to that character. He literally made that character his own, and which was the first sympathetic vampire in television and cinema history, because House of Dark Shadows was a movie. Now, it's not canon with the series, but he is playing the same character. At the end of the series, Barnabas Collins, Jonathan Fritz's character, was cured of his vampiric illness. Again, he was just so amazing to me. His eye, the way he would do his eyes, the way he would just look at you, you knew if you messed with him, you were in some deep shit. And something my wife pointed out, too, when you go back and watch those older vampires, like Bela Lugosi and Christopher Lee, they weren't really what you call handsome. But when you look at Jonathan Frid, he was handsome. He had that sex appeal that really drew you to him as well. And so he really had it all when it came to playing that role. So a very special happy birthday to Jonathan Frid. My all-time favorite vampire, Barnabas Collins. He played the original Barnabas. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, share, comment, subscribe. And again, Jonathan Frid as Barnabas Collins, to me, this just does not get enough credit. I know he has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. I hope he gets a star on a Canadian Walk of Fame. He definitely deserves it. Alright guys, I'll see you.